All right, guys, I just wanted to talk to you just real quickly about the summative project and what you need to do to be prepared this week to finish up the project. So, basically, what everyone in the room has done or should have done by now is interviewed someone for their summative narrative project. So, remember, the theme of our unit is everyone has a story. And so everyone is working on their interview or has finished their interview. And people have used all kinds of different apps. They've used their phones, they've used Zoom, they've used Teams, Google Meets, they've used the StoryCorps app itself. So any way that you record your interview is fine. Okay? So, the whole idea of the project is that you'll be telling a story via multimedia for the most part. So, your story won't just have the audio, you'll also have imagery, and you'll be writing an introduction and a conclusion. So, there'll be all kinds of written parts as well, but there'll be the audio, the imagery, and the written. And so, it's multimedia. So, just to kind of read through this, your final project task is to conduct an oral history interview that will help to tell a multimedia story that is rich with meaning and emotion. Oral history projects are a powerful tool for meaningful learning about a member of one's community and or family. Interviews conducted during an oral history project may reveal personal, social, economic, or cultural factors that affect a person's experiences, perspective, and identity. Inspired by themes that have arisen from our readings during the unit, you will interview a family or community member in order to help tell a broader story grounded in your own purpose. So, when it says grounded in your own purpose, one of the big things that we've worked on as a group is what author purpose is. What's the intention? Everything comes with some type of purpose. Maybe people are arguing for or against something. Maybe, like in The Color of Water, people are exploring their identities, who they are, and by the end, it's sort of them um, collecting information about a life story so they can reflect upon it. And I think McBride himself is reflecting very specifically about race in America, and just the layered kind of nuances that go along with being Black in America. Okay, so you're going to have a purpose. Maybe your purpose is just to tell a lighthearted story to capture, the beauty of friendship. Maybe you want to tell the story of a journey of a family member so that you can record that, have that forever. Sort of celebrate the journey and the hardships that a family member has been through and what they've learned and how they've grown and what they've taught you. You'll use audio, visual, and narrative strategies to tell and develop a story inspired by your interview. These projects will be presented to the class, so please choose topics you're comfortable sharing. And you'll use one of the following mediums to present your project. Now, for the most part, if you like to keep things simple, number one is the easiest and best way to go. Number one, you'll use StoryCorps Connect. You'll make an account there. They will give you a link to send to your participant so you can record the interview together. And it's very similar to like a Teams meeting link. And so you can literally use that entire interface, and there you can also upload your visual, you can upload all kinds of things. And you can also use the StoryCorps Connect with audio that you've recorded elsewhere. But really, all you need this week, though, is that interview. If you could get that interview done by Thursday, you're going to really be on point. Now, you won't be working in a group, so you won't be making a podcast. Now, if you are highly adept at making podcasts and there's something about you I don't know where you have your own podcast and you love this kind of arena, then certainly you could make a podcast on your own. But podcasts are so detail oriented and they require so much. They require music, editing, narration. There's so many layers that I made the podcast a group project. So I highly suggest not choosing that if you're working individually, unless of course you are a podcast nerd and you're like, I don't care how long it takes. I love making podcasts. I'm going to do this. Just let me know. But for the most part, you would not choose number two. Now, let's say that you interview someone who does not speak English. I have many students who are first generation Americans, and their parents are immigrants, and so their grandparents may still be living in the country where their parents immigrated from. Or I have many students who are first generation immigrants, and they came to this country as children with their parents, but their parents might not speak English. So there's a lot of reasons why students may interview someone in another language. Because the majority of us, unfortunately, speak English and we don't have another language, there's got to be a way for you to translate that. So, since StoryCorps Connect doesn't allow for editing, another thing you can do is do your interview in whatever language you choose, but then you'll translate it and you can use a storytelling tool to tell the story. So, like, I have one student who's telling the story of a journey that her mother went through, and it's sort of also the story of her own birth. And so she's going to use the story map tool in Night Lab to tell the story. You can upload audio, you can upload links, you can upload visuals. You also would include narrative, so that's where you would take the story and translate it and tell the story of the journey in English. Night Lab also has a timeline tool that's very interesting. It has a storyline tool. Night Lab is, if you like technology and you like telling multimedia stories or just learning more interesting ways to use technology, then definitely these Night Lab tools are great. And they're a great way to take this interview, this audio, and turn it into something dynamic. You could do that as well. And your audio doesn't have to have started out in another language for you to use the Night Lab storytelling tool. You can use it regardless if you like that better than the StoryCorps Connect platform. And then finally, some people are so very shy about presentations and so very shy about that whole multimedia kind of aspect that they might want to simply write a memoir. So the interviews, the research they did, the interview is the foundation for what they might include in the memoir, but the memoir would use all of the aspects of great narrative storytelling to actually tell a story. So the interview would be the background information you would need to then turn that into a story. So you have four choices. Number one keeps your life exceptionally simple, but you could choose from all of them. And then here's the rubric. So hopefully this sort of catches you up as to where we are and why the Advanced Comp team designed this particular final project. And hopefully you'll be able to kind of catch up and be with us this week as we put our final touches on the project. Okay, thank you.